Good morning and welcome to the second webinar for 2022. Kelly is going to take us through advanced data entry. So we really just want to show you how you can customize it for your farm. It enables you to be able to record more data, which is great obviously from the analysis point of view, but hopefully we can speed it up as well. The duration will be 10 to 15 minutes. And at the end, there's a very, very short survey. If you could fill that in, it's only 2 questions. That really helps us. And we'll also send a movie of this webinar so that anybody else on the farm that might be interested in seeing it will have access to it. So Kelly, over to you, data entry.
Okay, hello everyone. We are going to go through advanced data entry. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to daily events. If we go to the cow's head on the left-hand menu, go to daily tasks number 1, and go to daily events number 1. To start off with, I want to show you some very simple and very quick, easy ways of putting in the data. So we are going to start with services. I'm sure that some of you are aware that we can do a repeat function. So for example, if I was to serve 3032, first of all, in my action, I can either press enter on my keyboard, or as a shortcut, I could press S for service. Now for my date, this one's quite handy. I can either press my plus button or my minus button, obviously in this case, so we can't go into the future, and we can change the date. And again, we're going to press enter. I've got my insemination type there, service AI. If I want to change it, I've got my 3 dots on the right-hand side where I can change it to DIY, for example. My AI code, again, each time I'm pressing enter. And I can go through, again, change whether it's gender sorted or not, and put my quantity of straw. If I want to repeat the same service on the same day by the same bull on another animal that I've served, I can do this by putting the next animal in, pressing enter, and in my action, pressing the R key on my keyboard for repeat. So that's a nice, quick, easy way, especially if you've got 5 or 10 services with the same bull on the same day, to get that data in.
What happens if I make a mistake and it's not 3237?
If I make a mistake, I can highlight that row and I can press either delete on my keyboard, or I can right click on the line and put delete line and just say yes.
Good. So what happens if I wanted to use, for example, semen stock control or inseminators? How can I customize it for my farm?
So at the moment, as you can see, we've got a very small quantity of information on there. If I want to actually add more information, have advanced settings, what I want to do is on the top right-hand side of my screen, I've got settings. And in here, what we're going to see is we're going to have quite a few things that we can actually change. So I'll take you through heats first. Obviously, in here we'd have our voluntary waiting period, which all of these sets should be set up for you. But the bit that we want to concentrate on today is, for example, recording our reproduction comments. And you can also do your estrus signs. So if you are doing managed versus natural heat, it's a good point to put it on. For my comments, the reason why I want to have this on here is, for example, if I'm putting in a calving and I've already recorded on the calving ease that there's been an issue with the calving, I can actually put a comment. I can say she had a big calf. If I've served a cow and I've suddenly realized that I've served her and she was dirty, then I can put that as a comment. I can also do this if I have a PD that I've got twins for. So if I'm putting the fact she's PD positive and she's got twins, again, I can put my comment in there. The next bit we've got is we've got our services. So in here, we can change our default method. As you can see here, we've got Service AI, but I could always change it to DIY if I'm obviously doing the inseminations myself, natural services, and so on. Again, you can have a different method for the young stock. So if you're running them mainly with the bull, then you can put that as your default method. So either natural service or with the bull. I can also record my AI technician codes. So I can say who is going to be doing my default service method and who is going to, for example, if it's just DIY, who's going to be my default service technician. I can use my Siemens stock, and obviously if I'm using Siemens stock, registering the batch number. If you do decide to use Siemens stock, please do give us a call. We need to enable that once you've actually got your Siemens stock in the program. To add a new default service method and a default service operator, we can click on the three buttons, and bottom left-hand corner, we can click on the little plus sign. We can put in our name, click operator, and the main thing that we just need to remember always is to put something in the herd number. If you put the name, it just makes it a bit easier. So now we can change it, and we can see that's our default operator. Moving on to pregnancy. Now, this bit at the top, what I would like you all to think is, I don't want to go near this with a barge pull. I want to stay far away from this as possible. This is just a legacy bit. We prefer it if you could just pop in your PDs. So we're going to move on from that bit. You can see here we've got the ability to ask for days and calf when they're PD positive, which is always handy, especially if you're running them with the bull. You can record the sex of your unborn calf if you wish to. The main bit that is quite important is this bit, recording a treatment or disease when PD negative. So I've got my default treatment in here, which is my GnRH. I can always change it. Obviously, if I'm just giving them estromate and I want to call it estromate, then I can do so. And then we have got here our record method. So this is a new one. You may not have seen it yet. And in here we can actually say, how did we record the fact that she was pregnant? Did we do it especially through milk analysis, which is obviously becoming more popular? Or did we do it through palpitation? So we have that option as well to pop on there as an actual default. If I put milk analysis for now. And obviously we've got right at the bottom, we've got how many days after they've been inseminated are we actually going to check to see if they're PD positive. Going on again, we've got our dry off. So these settings you probably already have in your program, but you can actually choose and you can make the difference between your cows and your first calvers of how many days it's going to take to dry them off. But the bit...
Yeah, I was just going to say, this section here, this is really popular, isn't it?
Yes, it is very popular.
So it's really worth setting this up.
So recording the treatment when drying off. You can see that we've set it up on at the top here. The reason that we've set it up for this one is because not only are we having the high cell count taken into account, and I'll show you where we can set that up, but we're also looking at mastitis, which is very important. And we're looking at the last 3 milk recordings before we dry them off. So if they've had a high cell count within the last 3 milk recordings, and we want to give them an antibiotic, we can record that. If they've had a high cell count, a mastitis event during the lactation, then again, we can actually say we're going to give them an antibiotic. And if we do selective cow therapy and we do sealant only, then we can say if they hadn't had mastitis or a high cell count, we can change that. So in this case, I'm going to change it to a teat sealant. As Graham mentioned, this is very popular. It's definitely worth setting up. Obviously, this is just advice from the program. If you tend to manage it a little bit differently, or you just want it as a guide, it's worth setting this bit up. And finally, we've got calving. So in here, we've got for our actual cow when she calves, we can record her calving ease.
And we can now report on that in Report Writer.
Exactly. We can report on it in Report Writer. So it just gives us added functionality as well. And you can also enter your condition score of the cow at calving, and you can also enter her weight if you need to. On the right-hand side, we've got in terms of the calf. So if you record birth weights, it's worth ticking that, and you can actually have a default weight as well. And finally, on the left-hand side, if you can see, we've got health. This again is worth going into because we can tick the first option, which is register health details. This means that especially in the app, if you want to put more information when it comes to the health events and the health information you're putting through the app, it will allow you to do so. And finally, we've got a mastitis. So in here, this is where we can actually decide what our maximum cell count is going to be for both our first calvers and our cows, which will then also drive our dry cow that we saw beforehand. And we can also tick which conditions we want to include and which health events that we put in, we want to include in our mastitis analysis. So again, definitely worth setting up. We have quite a few users who will be using this already. And that is how we want to set up our actual settings to ensure that we can do the advanced data entry.
Great. So if we put a calving in and a service then, and we can show the changes.
Brilliant. So if we start with a calving, we're going to calve in 3351. So again, shortcuts, I can put C for calving, and I can put that she calved in today. She had one calf. Her calving ease again, each time I'm just pressing enter. So in here, I can say that she had a slight problem. And now I can use my comments. So I can say that she had a big calf. And now when I press enter, I can now put the details of the calf. So I'm going to say that she had a heifer. In this bit, I'm going to put yes. We've got 3 options, but I'd like you to disregard the no and just either stick to yes or died. She is a British Holstein crossbreed, and I can put in the rest of my ear tag. That will default my number. So obviously it's going to give me the last 5 digits. So I'm going to change that. So I've got a longer number there. Obviously, if I'm doing pedigree, I can put my name in. I can put in my hair color as well. And I can put a comment if I need to. And now if we put in a service, we can see all the changes that we made. So I can put in, we're going to serve 5451. What you'll notice now, again, as a service, is that we've changed our service method. And again, I can change my gender sorted from beforehand. My inseminator code has also changed. I've now got the ability to put reason in. And I've got the ability to put a comment in. And finally, we can put in our PD. So we can see the difference of what we're actually going to be able to pop in. So 809, I'm going to put the PD in for. Put P for pregnancy status. Again, with my -P, change the date. And in here now, I can put the fact that she was PD positive. I can put my method, which will default to milk analysis, but I can change that. I can put in a comment. So in this case, I'm going to put twins. My days pregnant will default to last service. So if it was a previous service to that, I can change it in there. And again, We will have our confirmation of our ball, and that is all saved.
Okay, brilliant. So yeah, that's really good. So what we can see there is that we can do more with analysis. We can speed up the data entry, and that's really all just going to the settings section.
Exactly.
Okay. If you've got any questions, if you could type the questions in, we promise we'll come back to you today either by email or we'll give you a call. As I said, there is a movie that will be circulated. I think that goes out tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And yeah, if you've got any questions, please call the help desk. And if you could just answer the survey very quickly, we'd appreciate it. And we look forward to the next webinar in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.